And welcome back to the final video of our Node programming series right here. And if you remember from our previous video, we added a login with password authentication. We also moved our menu into that login. You notice right here, we only have this drop down menu with a login. And so let's log in. I'll show you real quick. So once we logged in here, it has a new menu right here that pops up, add new menu. And this is where we can add other menus down here. So this is only accessible once you log in. So now the next thing I want to do is once we're logged in, there need to be some options right here where we can edit the menu and also to delete the menu. So I'll just log out of this right now and we'll go back to our programming project right here. Stop the server. And so the file that I want to work with is the index.ejs and the menu.js. And then also in a minute, I'll be adding a new menu.ejs file to this views folder right here. So you'll see that in a little bit. But right now, what we want to do is once we're logged in, we can detect our login and add in our edit and delete options. And so I want to have it right under this image right here. I want to have it say edit and delete right under each image. We can edit and delete each item right here. So that lies right here. Here's the link to the menu icon. And so if you remember from our index.js file right here, I'm gonna go back to it. Once the home page loads right here, we have this logged in variable that detects the session. So that's what we're using for our index.ejs. We're going to detect that. So let's say if logged in, then we will show the menu. There will be edit and there will also be delete. So what I need to do is turn this edit into a link, and so that when they click on it, we can edit this item right here only for each individual item. Because if you remember right here, we have a data for each item. So we're going to use that. Let's create a link, a href, wrap that around. And I want to direct that to menu right here. It will be inside menu.js where we'll create the functionality for that. And when I direct it there, I also need this item ID. So I need to grab that equals item._id. If you remember from the MongoDB, _ID is the main ID of that item inside the database. And then as for the delete, ahref equals, we're going to have menu/delete/item._id. So you'll see right here, I called delete in here. You'll see in a minute when I create that function for it so that we know this is to delete. And also, if you want to call this edit, you can also. I'll show you how to do that when we go and create it. But this, I just simplified it to only go to menu, and then we just grab the ID to edit. So let's end this a link right there. And also, I want to highlight this delete link so that it's more visible. You know that there is a delete button right there. You don't want to accidentally click it. So what I like to do is create a class called red, and it will highlight that link as a red link. And then I'll also do this to onClick. I want to, if I accidentally click this link item to delete the item, that it won't automatically just delete it right away. We confirm it first. So I'm going to return confirm. This is a JavaScript function to confirm. And I'm going to say in single quotes right here, are you sure you wish to delete this? So what this is doing is once I click on this delete link, it's going to confirm it. It's going to ask me, do I want to delete this? If I do say yes on it, then it'll go ahead and process it. If I say no, it'll cancel out of it. So that's how it works. And then last, I'm just going to put a little bit of bootstrap around this so that it looks a little bit nicer. MB1 and P1. Just a simple little div bootstrap around this, just to clean it up a little bit. So I'll run this and I'll show you how it looks like right now. npm start. We're going to log in. And there you see right here, edit, delete for each individual item. And you notice as I hover over in the bottom left down here, you'll see that the link will change. Oh, the ID didn't go through for my delete, so I need to edit that. But you notice that these IDs are different from the edit here. So let's see what's going on with this code right here. Did I not call it right? I'm missing the equal sign. There we go. Save that. And there we go. It added in the ID. So I'll just clean this up a little bit more. And then we'll move on to create the functionality for this. So let's go back here. We're going to go to menu.js now. Let's stop the server. So inside of menu.js, let's do the delete first. router dot get slash delete, and then we also got the ID, right? This is going to be an async request response arrow function. So when they click on this delete, we need to check the session first, request.session. If not sesh.logged in, then we're going to response.redirect them back to the login page, because you'll need to be logged in and able to delete things. If they are logged in, let's let menu equals schemas.menu. Let menu ID equals request.params.id. Here's the ID that we're requesting for the item, because we're going to look that up inside the database. Let query equals, let's set up our little query right here. We're going to search for the ID in the database, right? The underscore ID. And then we're going to match it up with the menu ID. Menu ID. So now let's let delete result. And we're going to query that. Await menu dot delete one. That's how you delete an item using Mongo. Query right there. Response dot redirect after it deletes. So let's go over this right here. Here's the query. We're going to search our database for the ID that matches what we're sending in, and we're only deleting one item. There should only be one item that matches with that ID in our database. So that's what it's doing. And right here, it's waiting for it to delete first, and then we're going to redirect ourselves back to the home page. So what I'll do is I'm going to create our edit functionality, and then we'll run everything all at once, the delete and the edit. Let's just do the edit and get that out of the way. For edit, we're doing a router.get, and we're only getting the ID. Now remember, I said if you wanted to have this called edit, you can just do edit like that, /edit. But we're not doing that. I'm just calling it directly, getting the ID. Async request response. So same thing, we're going to check this session, right? If it's logged in or not. So I'm going to copy that right here, session if logged in. So if it's not logged in, we're going to response.render a menu page that we're going to set up. It's going to say title, edit, logged in. We're passing back the logged in. We need to pass all these every time we're rendering a page. An error, invalid request. So that's what we're doing. If they are not logged in while they're trying to edit an item, we're going to show them the error inside of our new page that we're going to create. So now let's grab this ID item so that we can pass it to our new page so that they can edit it. ID equals request.params.id. Let error equals empty. Let menu equals schemas.menu. Let query, here's our query right here. We're doing the same query for the ID, which is called underscore ID, and then the ID. Now, here we go. Let item result equals await. I'm gonna search for it, menu.find. We're gonna find our query right here. Here's our query. We're gonna find the ID inside the database. If it finds it, then we're returning the item data. So if the item data returns null, I want to return an error right here. Invalid ID. Because we can't find the item if it returns back empty. Otherwise, we're going to response.render our new menu page that we're going to create. And let's return things in here. We're going to return the title, edit, menu. That's our new title now in this menu page. And we're going to return that item data. We need our logged in session, sesh.loggedin, and we need to return any errors. So those are all the variables we're returning. Now we need to create this new page. Okay, so I'm looking down here and I'm seeing that I'm having some problems right here. I did not fill out everything correctly here. I forgot an equal sign. I tend to do that. Same thing right here, forgot my equal sign. Save that. And so there's no more problems. And now finally, the last part we need to add in here, we have our edit, we have our delete, we need to save. So let's go down here, router.post/save async request response. And this save comes in from this menu EJS right here. When we're clicking the save button, it's directing it to menu/save. So that's why we need to create this right here, save. And same thing, we need to detect if we're logged in or not. So let's put this here, same exact thing. If they're not logged in, we're directing them back to the login page. Otherwise, let's grab our saved IDs right here. Let's do let menu ID equals request.body.menu ID. And I'm going to copy this because we have about 4 items that we need to grab. We have the menu name, we have the menu icon, the menu URL. This is menu name, menu icon, menu URL. Let menu equals schemas.menu. Let's set up our query. We're searching for the ID, menu ID, right here, our menu ID. Let save data equals. Now, right in here, this is the command to save our new values. We're going to set the name in the database is now the menu name that we have right up here, our new name. The icon in the database is now menu icon. The menu URL inside our database is now menu URL. So those are the new values from the form that we submitted. And then down here, let update results equals, oh wait, menu.update1. Look how easy it is to update. Same thing as the delete. We're gonna update using the query, then we're gonna save data, just like that. And then after it updates, we're going to do a response.redirect right back to the home page. Whoops. And yeah, it's going to wait for it to save first and then redirect us. That's all we need to do for that. And now we can run our server. So let's run this page right now. npm start. Hopefully there's no errors. Back to our home page here. Let's log in. Kodakai. Now that we're logged in, let's edit this. There we go. It pulled out all the values from the database, and look, it shows our image right here for the McDonald's, exactly how we set it up. So let's just call this like restaurant right here, restaurant, and we're going to save that. And we're not actually showing the name of it, so let's go back here, edit, and see it saved it right here. So the save did work. Cancel that, it goes back there. And now let's see how the delete works. I'm going to delete Taco Bell down here. Let's say I want to delete that, and it pops up a prompt saying, are you sure you wish to delete this? See, if I click cancel, it just stays here. It canceled it. Now let's go ahead and delete it. I'm going to click OK. It deleted it and it went right back to our home page, and see how it just refreshed it like that? So yeah, everything works here. I'll add back the Taco Bell and a couple more items, and we'll see the full menu right here. Alright, and so there you go. Let's go back to the home page here, and I added a few more menus in here. Carl's Jr., in and out. And you see how this came along. We have a full website right here with login capabilities. I can log in, log out. Once I'm logged in, I can add a new menu. Then I can go to the home page, and since I'm logged in, it has these menus right here, edit, delete. I can edit each one if I want. I can cancel, I can save it, I can delete it. And then if I log out, look at that. The edit and delete buttons are gone, and also our add new menu is gone because we're logged out, and only the public can see this here. We can search, like taco, and it shows Taco Bell there. If I leave the search empty and I search, it searches for everything. So yeah, we have a full website right here, pretty much like a content management system. You can create anything out of this. We have our whole login, right here. We have create a new account. So I showed how to do this full-on website here. What I do want to cover at the end here is some thoughts on creating this, how to make it a little bit better. And I was thinking that I could have done a little bit better with the programming, because if I go to my login here in my login.js file, you'll see that once we're logged in here under the login, I didn't really need this login success for the variable. I could really just use the session.loggedin, and I can detect it through session.login. So I can really delete this, and I just change this to session.login, you know, sesh.loggedin, because I'm already checking that. So that's one thing I could have changed up. And then another is that I didn't need to pass through the logged in like that. What I really should have did is that I should have created a session in here called sesh.user, and I give that more of values in here. I can have their name, I can have like an email for them, I can have what kind of level, because this is where I can detect if they're an admin or just a regular user. And then I can pass this session.user through, instead of passing it through logged in here, I can just say user profile or something like that. And then I can look up that user profile each time, and I can use their name, I can use their email, and I can check on what admin level they're in, so that when I'm logged in, maybe I'll only allow admins to add new menus or whatever, and regular users can only add a new menu. So those are a couple of other ways that I could have done this. So those are a few things for you to think through as you're building a site. If you're creating a website that allows people to log in, you should think about them as having different levels, whether there are admins, there are editors, there are regular users, and what privileges they get when they're logged in, because that will come up a lot actually when you're creating websites with logins. But really, this was a very simple full website here to show you the capabilities of creating all this, creating a login and doing the whole CRUD system for that, for MongoDB, connecting everything together, adding things to our database, editing it, deleting it, modifying it, updating, and using all those functions. So I hope this video was very helpful for people out there who's looking to create a node type application that uses a cloud database and creating a back end for it to manage this type of stuff. And you know, you can create a whole content management system using this method here. And so yeah, that wraps it up for this series here. I'm going to move on to some more node programming, but I will look into something that's more valuable for a lot of you guys that are watching my channel right now. I do notice that this series took a while, and I think what I want to focus on next is to show you very important tools and things that will help you with your programming as you're learning and trying to find a job out there that requires doing this type of stuff. And I think I will break them going forward into smaller separate videos that will help you along the way, and instead of creating these really long videos. So I will break them up and make it just more useful, more educational. So please give this video a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Kodakai out.